Good morning, students. As we were discussing the digestion and absorption chapter in that the competitive part. So in the previous class I have discussed 30 questions. So in this class we shall start with the 31st question. The 31st question is identify A to E in the given figure. So here they have given the diagram of the stomach and they have labeled the parts as A to E, and they have asked you to find what is A, what is B, what is C. Okay, so you all know that the stomach is having four parts, and that stomach which is with the four parts is having the opening and the ending part. Opening which will be connected to the esophagus, and the ending part of the stomach will be further connected to the duodenum. So here the A, it is the part of the esophagus. Okay. B is pyloric, C is fundic, or we can also call it as the fundus. Then the D is, it is the superior part of the duodenum, and E is, it is the cardiac. So for 31st question the answer is option A. 32nd question, a muscular sphincter that regulates the opening of esophagus into stomach. So here the sphincter which is present in between the esophagus and the stomach, it is going to help in the regulation of ending the esophagus and opening as the stomach. So that sphincter is called gastroesophageal sphincter. 33rd, select the incorrect organ and its shape from the following. So here they have given the organs and respective that of their shapes. So they are asking to find out their incorrect pair among the following options. So the first one is J shape stomach. So stomach is not in round shape, it is always in the shape of J. Then the next is U shape duodenum. So the duodenum is in the U shape only, it is having the two limbs. Then the kidney is bean shape. So always the kidney is being compared to the bean shape only. Next D, it is the vasa recta which is with the O shape. So here vasa recta, it is not in the O shape. So what is vasa recta? Vasa recta is a part of the nephron. So here this part of the nephron with respect to the Henle's loop, always the Henle's loop and the vasa recta will be running together as parallelly. So here the vasa recta is not with the O shape. So that's why that is the incorrect organ and it's with the shape. Next, 34th question, a muscular sphincter that regulates the opening of the stomach into the duodenum. So here the sphincter is present in between the stomach and duodenum, where that sphincter is going to help in the opening of the stomach into the duodenum. So that is called as the pyloric sphincter. Next, 35th question, large intestine consists of. So the large intestine, it is consists of cecum, colon, rectum, and even the anus also comes, but here as it is a part of only the large intestine, so the cecum, colon and rectum are the major parts of the large intestine. So hence the answer is option D, all of these. Next, 36th question, a part of large intestine which is a blind sac and it harbors some symbiotic microorganisms. It means what the options are there. Among those options, one is a part of the large intestine, but that part of the large intestine is having, or it is called as the blind sac. Okay, so that blind sac or the part of the large intestine, it is going to harbors, it is going to have, or inside that blind sac there are presence of symbiotic microorganism. So what is that? That is the cecum, which is a part of the large intestine, which is also called as the blind sac and helps, or it is having the symbiotic microorganisms. So for 36th question, the answer is option B. 37th, colon is, so as you have studied the elementary canal structure, you all know that the colon is divided into three parts as ascending, descending and the transverse colon. So hence the answer is, for 37th question, the answer is all of these. 38th question, which of the following is true about appendix? So the appendix, it is going to rise from the cecum. It's the large intestine what is having the cecum. So from there the vermiform appendix is connected. Okay, so here they have, in all the options they have given the features or the characters of the appendix. Option A, narrow finger like tubular projection. So that is a narrow finger like tubular projection which is going to arise from the cecum. So option B, it is going to arise from the cecum. Next, option C, it is considered as the vestigial organ. Why it is considered as a vestigial organ? Because it doesn't have any of the particular functions. Okay, so A, B, C, all the what they have mentioned all are true about the appendix. So hence the answer is all of these. Next question, the wall of alimentary canal from esophagus to rectum possesses how many histological layers? So the alimentary canal from the esophagus to the rectum, it is having the histological layers. Histological layers means the internal tissues or internal layers, internal structure of the wall of the alimentary canal is having how many layers? How many layers are present? It is the 4 layers. What are those? Serosa, muscularis, submucosa and the mucosa. Hence for 39th question, the answer is option D, that is 4 layers. Next question, identify the order of the following histological layers which are present in the wall of human alimentary canal from esophagus to rectum. So here they are asking, they have given the order from A to F. So those should be arranged in the following histological layers, means which is the outer one, which is the inner one, of which is next to the inner layer. So in that manner we have to arrange these layers. So first is almost the outermost layer. So that outermost layer is serosa. After that it is muscularis, then it is submucosa, and then the last part is the mucosa. Last part means it is the innermost layer of the alimentary canal. So serosa comes first, it is A. Then next is muscularis, it is the C. After that muscularis, it is the submucosa. Then the submucosa means it is in the D. Then next innermost layer, that is mucosa, it is E. A, C, D, E. Where, in which option it is mentioned? That is mentioned in the option D. So for 40th question, the answer is option D. Next 41 question, which of the following is the outermost histological layer of alimentary canal? So outermost layer of the alimentary canal is serosa. So in the option it is given as thin mesothelium. Don't get confused that serosa is made up of the mesothelium layer. Next 42nd question, where does the oblique muscle layer situated in human alimentary canal? So the oblique muscle layers are present or situated in the human alimentary canal in the part of the stomach. Okay. Next 43rd question, select the total number of false statements from the following. So here they have given the statements from A to E. So what is the first statement? That is, muscularis is formed by smooth muscles usually arranged into an inner circular and an outer longitudinal layer. So this statement is the true only. Submucosal layer is formed of loose connective tissues containing nerves, blood and lymph vessels. So submucosal layer, as it is made up of loose connective tissue, so that's why loose connective tissue, when it is there, the loose connective tissue is consisting, or it is having the nerves and the blood vessels. So that's why submucosal layer is also having the nerves and the blood and lymph vessels. Serosa is the outermost layer and is made up of a thin mesothelium. Mesothelium means nothing but the epithelium of visceral organs. Visceral organs means that is the internal organs. So the thin mesothelium with some connective tissue. So the serosa is, obviously it is the outermost layer. Then you check the statement D. The innermost layer lining the lumen of the alimentary canal is mucosa. So the alimentary canal is having the innermost layer. So that innermost layer is mucosa. So that mucosa is going to line the lumen. It is going to line the lumen. That lumen means nothing but it is the cavity. So that is the statement D is also the correct one. Next, mucosal epithelium has the goblet cells which secrete mucus that help in lubrication. Lubrication, easy passing. Easy passing of the food is being done by the mucus. Who are going to secrete the mucus? That is the goblet cell. Where the goblet cells are present? The goblet cells are present in the mucosal epithelium. So statement A to E, all the statements are correct. So hence the answer for 33rd question is option D, all are true. Next, 44th question, mucosal layer that forms irregular folds in the stomach is called. So the mucosal layer that forms irregular folds in the stomach is called, they are called as rugae. Next, 45th question, mucosal layer that forms small finger-like projections in the intestine is called. So small finger-like projections which are present in the intestine and arising or made of the mucosal layer, they are called as the villi. Next, 46th question, the mucosal layer that forms depression in between villi in intestine is called. So in between the two villi, what the depressions are being formed, that depressions, they are called as the crypts. 47th question, in the wall of alimentary canal which is true sequence from outer to inner. So outer to inner, the wall of the alimentary canal. So the outer wall is serosa. After the serosa, it is the muscularis. Then the next is submucosa and the innermost is mucosa. So here serosa is the outermost layer. So where all it is given? It is given in the option B, A, C and D. After that it is the muscularis layer. So muscularis means it is made up of the muscles. So here longitudinal, that muscularis layer is being divided again as a longitudinal and circular muscle. So that's why you can see in the option A, C, D, they have given the longitudinal muscles. Okay, but you can, after the only longitudinal muscles are present in the muscularis layer. No, even the circular muscles are also present. So where they are mentioned in which option? Option C, you observe serosa longitudinal muscle, circular muscles. After the muscularis layer, which layer comes? Submucosa. After the submucosa, it is the innermost layer, that is the mucosa. So for 47th question, the answer is option C. 48th, the narrow distal end of the stomach is called. So the narrow distal end of the stomach is called as pylorus. Next topic, that is with respect to the absorption of digested food products. 49th, intestinal villi are mainly concerned with. So the intestinal villi, they are mainly concerned with the process of absorption. 50th, pylorus is situated at the junction of. So pylorus is nothing but the pyloric part of the stomach. So where it is being situated? Stomach and the duodenum, because after the stomach, next part of the intestine, next part of the alimentary canal means it is the intestine. In the intestine mainly it is with respect to the small intestine. So small intestine, the first part is the duodenum. So pyloric is situated at the junction of stomach and duodenum. 51, brush bordered epithelium is found in. The brush bordered epithelium is found mainly in the small intestine. Why in the small intestine? To help for the process of absorption. Next question, vermiform appendix is a part of. Vermiform appendix, it is a vestigial part which is present in the alimentary canal. So 52nd question, the answer is option A, that is alimentary canal. Next 53rd question, crypts of Libercun is an example for. So the crypts of Libercun, it is the example for the tubular option. All they have given as a tubular glands, but this is very simple tubular gland. So hence 53rd question, the answer is option A. 54th, serosa. Serosa is made up of. So the serosa is made up of epithelium and the connective tissue. As the epithelium which is present in the internal organ, it is present in the visceral organ, they also call it as a mesothelium. So 54th, the option is, the correct answer is option, that is option C, because it is made up of mesothelium as well as some connective tissue. So 55th question, in duodenum glands are present. In the duodenum there are presence of the glands. What those glands are called? Those glands are called as Brunner's glands. Where the Brunner's glands are present? The Brunner's glands are present in the submucosa. 55th question, the correct answer is option B. Next 56th question, which is responsible for the increase in surface area of small intestine? So here the increase in the responsible for surface area of small intestine, what is the use of it? To help in the absorption. So who are increasing the surface area of absorption in the small intestine means, first actually it is the villi. On the villi, that mainly the brush border epithelium cells, they are called as microvilli. So that's why the answer is both the option A and option B, which is given in the C option. 57th question, which of the following is true about villi? So option A, they are small finger-like foldings in small intestine. Okay, so The villi are the small finger-like foldings present in the small intestine. Option B, they are supplied with a network of capillaries. Even it is also true, because the villi are being supplied with a network of capillaries. That's why they are called as lacteals. They are supplied with the large lymph vessels called lacteals. If the villi are supplied with the large lymph and blood vessels, then they are called as lacteals. Option D, all the above. So 57th question, the answer is option D, because whatever they are mentioned in the A, B, C, all are true with respect to the villi. Next, goblet cells are an example of. 58th question, the goblet cell, they are the example for unicellular or multicellular. So the goblet cell, they are responsible, they are an example for the unicellular gland, whereas the salivary glands, they are example for the multicellular glands. Next, 59th question, select the incorrect statement from the following. So here they have given the 4 statements, we have to choose which is the incorrect one. So option A, the mucosal epithelium has a goblet cell which secrete mucus and that helps in lubrication. So option A is the correct answer. Option B, mucosa form gastric gland in stomach and crypts of liver in the intestine. So this statement is also true. Option A and option B, both the statements are correct only. Option C, all the 4 histological layers shows modification in different parts of alimentary canal. So all the histological layers which are present in the alimentary canal, they are going to show modifications. What are those modifications? Those modifications, see, submucosa, it is going to form the Brunner's glands in the duodenum. Okay, then when that mucosa comes in the intestine, that is with respect to the small intestine, mainly the ileum and jejunum, so there it is going to form the villi. The same mucosal layer in the stomach, it is going to form the irregular foldings, they are called the rugae. So this is the different modifications which are being observed with respect to the histological layer. So hence option A, B, C, all these 3 are the correct statement. We shall check with the D. Muscularis layer is made up of outer circular and inner longitudinal. Actually it is outer in longitudinal and inner circular muscle layer. So 59, the answer is option D, which is the incorrect statement. Next, which of the following are digestive glands associated with the alimentary canal? So the alimentary canal is associated with the digestive glands, that is salivary glands, pancreas and the liver. So hence the answer is all of these. 61, how many salivary glands are present in the human body? So there are 3 salivary glands present in the human body. For 61 question, option D is correct, because how many salivary glands are present? 3 pairs of salivary glands are present, but here as they have not mentioned 3 pairs, so we shall consider it, each pair means 2 salivary glands. So 3 into 2 means there are 6 salivary glands. 62nd question, the following are salivary glands except. So in the 4 options, they have given 3 as salivary glands and one option as the other gland. We shall check. Option A, parotid. Option B, submaxillary or submandibular. Option C, sublingual. Option D, Brunner gland. So A, B, C, all these 3 are salivary glands except the Brunner gland. So for 62nd question, the answer is option D. Next, 63rd question, the gland which is situated below the tongue. So the gland which is situated below the tongue, it is called as sublingual salivary gland. Next, select the incorrect match. So here they have given the position and the presence of the glands. Cheeks, so cheeks, in the cheeks there are presence of the parotid glands. Option B, lower jaw. Lower jaw, there are presence of submaxillary or submandibular salivary glands. Next, below tongue. So below the tongue there are presence of sublingual. Option D, pineal gland, which is the present in the dorsal side of the midbrain. Actually it is not present as the dorsal side of the midbrain. So that is the incorrect match for the 64th question. So hence the answer is option D. Next, 65th, which is the largest gland of our body. So the largest gland of our body is liver. What is the maximum approximate weight of an adult human liver? So the adult human liver is varying from the weight from 1.2 to 1.5 kg. So next question, liver is situated in. So the liver is situated in the abdominal cavity. Next, 68th question, liver is majorly divided into how many lobes? So the liver is majorly divided into 2 lobes. Next, 69th question, each lobule in a liver is covered by thin connective sheath called. So surrounding of the thin connective sheath which is observed with respect to the hepatic lobule in the liver, that is called the Glissan's capsule. Next, 70th, structural and functional unit of the liver. So the structural and functional unit of the liver is called hepatic lobules. Next, 71 question number, the function of gallbladder is. So the function of gallbladder, as the gallbladder helps in the storage of the bile and making the increase in the concentration of the bile. So hence the answer is both A and B. 72nd, the common bile duct is formed by the joining of. The common bile duct is formed by the joining of both, that is hepatic ducts and the cystic duct. Hepatic duct which is going to arise from the liver, cystic duct which is arising from the gallbladder. So hence option B is the correct answer. 73rd, cystic duct is located in. The cystic duct is located inside the gallbladder. Next, 74th, bile is secreted by. The bile is secreted by the hepatic cells which are present inside the liver. So here the Kupffer cells, they are also the cells of the liver. On next, 75th question, the bile duct and the pancreatic duct opens together into the duodenum as a hepatopancreatic duct which is guarded by a sphincter called. The duodenum, where it is having a lateral connection with respect to the pancreas and the liver, so that is being opened by, or it is being regulated by the sphincter called as the sphincter of Oddi. So for 75th question, the answer is option C. Next, 76th one, pancreas secretes. The pancreas secretes, the pancreas means that is which is going to secrete the pancreatic juice. So that pancreatic juice is having, it is going to secrete the hormones like insulin, glucagon, and even the 6 inactive state of pancreatic enzymes. So for 76th question, the answer is all of these. Next, 77th question, identify A to F in the given figure. So here you need to observe the options where the diagram, it is the duct system of the gallbladder, liver and the pancreas. So here they have made the labelings of that diagram as A, B, C, D. We need to find what is A, B, C, D and E. So here option A, what in the diagram what they have labeled A, that is with respect to the pancreatic duct. Then B, so that pancreatic duct which is going to join with the common bile duct and it is going to run as a hepatopancreatic duct. C, you check, it is the common bile duct. D, duct, it is the ducts which are going to arise from the liver. Then E, it is the duodenum. F is the gallbladder which is going to help in the storing of the bile juice. So for 77th question, the answer is, it is the B. 78th, all are secretions of pancreas except insulin, it is being secreted from the pancreas. The glucagon is also being secreted from the pancreas. Chymotrypsinogen, it is secreted but it is an enzyme, whereas insulin and glucagon, they are the hormones. But option D, what they have given as enterokinase. So this enterokinase is an enzyme which is secreted from the intestinal mucosa. 79th question, mixed gland because of both secretion of the pancreatic juice and the secretion of the hormones. Because of that, it is called as the compound gland. So mixed gland, exocrine and endocrine, is obtained from, so this mixed gland, it is being obtained from the digestive gland, that is called pancreas. Next, 80th question, the major function performed by buccal cavity is. So the buccal cavity is going to help in the mastication of food. Once that mastication, the food particles are being converted as the smaller pieces, those small pieces of the food particles get adhered together and they form the bolus, and that bolus is going to enter from your buccal cavity next to the pharynx and from pharynx to the esophagus. So when the bolus enters from the buccal cavity to the esophagus, so that process is called as swallowing, or it is also called as deglutition. So that's why the function performed by the buccal cavity is both A and B. Next, 81 question, the bolus formed in buccal cavity conveyed to pharynx and then esophagus by the process is called. So the bolus, I said, what is the bolus? The bolus means it is the masticated food particles which are going to get adhered together with the help of the mucus present in the saliva. So when they get adhered together, and that formation we call it as bolus. So that bolus is going to enter first from buccal cavity to the pharynx, from pharynx to the esophagus. So that process is called as deglutition, or it is also called as swallowing. 82nd question. Mucus in saliva helps in lubricating and adhering the masticated food particles into a dash in buccal cavity. So here the mucus which is present in the saliva helps in lubrication. Obviously lubrication means easy passing of the food, and adhering the masticated food particles into, means all the masticated food particles are getting adhered, they are getting attached together and form a ball like structure, that is called as a bolus. So that bolus, where it is being formed inside the buccal cavity. So option C is the correct answer for question number 82. 83rd question. Saliva contains. So saliva contains the enzyme that is called as salivary enzyme, and that salivary enzyme is also called as a thalin. Then it is consisting of the one more enzyme which is considered to be as an antibacterial agent, that is called lysozyme, and there are presence of the electrolytes also. So hence all the options A, B, C are the correct which are present in the saliva. So 83rd question, the answer is option D, that is all of these. 84th, lysozyme is, the lysozyme is an enzyme which is present in the saliva, which is going to act as the antibacterial agent. Antibacterial agent means it is going to fight against the growth of the bacteria or the infections. 85th question, lysozyme is, so it is cellular barrier, cytokine barrier, physiological barrier, and the physical barrier. So here 85th question, what actually it is mean with in the second year you will learn, you will come across with in detail about this. It comes in the immunity, but you remember right now the lysozyme is a physiological barrier. Why physiological barrier? During the physiological activity like the digestion, that saliva is being secreted, so then only that saliva will be consisting of an enzyme called as the lysozyme. Remaining questions I will be discussing in the next class. Thank you.